Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, am I a terrible woman? Well, I've got an email. This is actually from, you guessed it, a woman. She wrote in, she was dating a couple of different dudes. One guy who, the one she really liked, thought she had chemistry with, didn't really work out. This new guy who is caused her to question, am I a terrible person? She kind of jerked this dude around a little bit, and then he got really upset at her and really mad. So what I liked about this email is you kind of get to see from a woman's perspective what she kind of goes through, and she does display some flaky behavior. And at the end, she's like, am I the type of girl that you warn your viewers about to avoid and steer clear of? So with that said, I've got a quote that I wrote in this particular topic because she does a good job of illustrating what this other guy did. You can tell he's just a little too nice. He's spending too much money on her and doing some things you just shouldn't do with somebody you're really just trying to get to know. And I talk about this in my book, 3% Man. I talk about like the grand gesture date where a guy gets a date with a girl that's he considers his dream woman, and so he's going to go way out of his way to impress her, go to an expensive restaurant, spend a lot of money on her in hopes that by doing all these things and spending all this money on her and showing her this ridiculously outrageous good time, that's going to make up for whatever he happens to feel that he lacks in the inside, because that's what it really boils down to. If a guy doesn't feel he's got what it takes to win a woman over, he tries to do all these external things to make up for that. And so you're going to see that and what she describes, the kinds of things that this guy does. And then for those of you that understand 3% Man, you'll see his reaction, that the guy kind of comes unglued at the end. You can understand from his perspective. I'd say probably, obviously myself included, pretty much most of the guys watching this have had some kind of experience like this in their dating history where they thought, I spent all this money, we spent all this time together, and that's it? So let's go through the quote and then we'll get into her email. And the quote says, when it comes to dating, you and your time is the greatest gift you can give anyone. The reality is that most women you are interested in won't feel the same way. It is absolutely critical to notice how a woman treats you and appreciates your efforts to provide a fun date together. Women who have high romantic interest in you will go out of their way to show their appreciation for your time and money. Women with low romantic interest will make little to no effort to show their appreciation for your time and money invested, often acting entitled and like they did you a favor by going out with you. That's why it's always best to start out with a few drinks or a coffee date as your first date to gauge your chemistry together and look for mutual high interest. Grand gesture, expensive dates are a waste of time and money with someone you just met. This comes off as a bribe for sex in a relationship and unnecessarily opens you up to being taken advantage of and having your time and money wasted. So with that said, let's go through her email. She says, hi, Corey. I discovered your work and have been reflecting on my attitude towards guys in my life. That's awesome. Recently, I've been heartbroken over a guy I really wanted to be with. Things were up in the air for some time, so I decided to look for alternatives in the meantime. So I started to casually date. There was this one guy with whom I really had chemistry. He was putting the effort, and after 2 dates said he really liked me. To be honest, if it wasn't for this other man, so this other guy was not treating her the way she wanted to be treated. He wasn't whining her, dining her and buying her flowers and doing all the things that this guy who supposedly she has chemistry with, where she's telling herself that she had chemistry with. Guy seems to do everything right, textbook, Mr. Nice Guy, does all these nice things, but yet the guy she's heartbroken over, who obviously isn't treating her the way she wants to be treated, she's really feeling the chemistry with him and the emotional attraction with him. but it's not working out, so she's going to give this guy a shot. And you can tell he's overdoing it. He's looking at the stuff that he's doing and the money he's spending as going to be what wins him the girl, instead of him being the one that wins the girl. In other words, she'll end up being with him because he's just an awesome, great guy. But obviously you can tell he doesn't feel that way. I would probably be completely charmed by him, but I was not fully available emotionally. He wined and dined me while I was kind of flaky, canceling dates, not always responding, etc. But we kept on dating for about 5 weeks. So she's displaying flaky behavior, canceling dates, pushing him away, and obviously that didn't deter him. And so a man who has lots of choices and lots of options, and women who are enthusiastic about going out with him, when he sees this kind of flaky behavior, in other words, if he doesn't get a "fuck yeah, I'd love to go out with you, that'd be great, let's do it," when you ask a woman out, you should move on. But this guy was projecting his high attraction onto her and hoping that the expensive dates and all the money was going to make up for the fact that he was pursuing somebody that wasn't really reciprocating much effort. And the problem was he didn't back off when she pushed him away. He kept pursuing, which caused her to lose even more respect and jerk and dick him around even more, because quite frankly, no amount of jerking him around and treating him like a doormat is going to cause him to stand up for himself or to back away. Remember, this other guy that she's all into is doing next to nothing. I mean, she doesn't say much about him, but yet it's obvious her attention is on the guy that's not giving her attention. And as we talk about in 3% Man, which you can read for free on my website by subscribing to the email newsletter at understandingrelationships.com, is that the quickest way to get somebody else's attention is to remove yours. And that's where this particular guy that was the too nice of guy, he didn't do that. He didn't remove his attention. And so therefore, she could blow him off constantly, and he's just going to keep coming back for more. So therefore, there's no consequences. There's no chance on her losing this guy, because every time she pushes him away, he just keeps putting up with it and tolerating it, because that's what we're told we're supposed to do, which obviously doesn't work in the real world. So he wined me and dined me. I was kind of flaky, canceling dates, not always responding, etc., but we kept on dating for about 5 weeks. He was planning to take me out for a dinner on Woman's Day to a fancy restaurant. Woman's Day. Is there a Woman's Day somewhere in the world? I'm thinking Mother's Day, but Woman's Day, maybe that's a different country. I didn't see where she was from. I didn't look that up. And she didn't mention it. And wanted me to dress up, and he planned the whole thing. We were supposed to go dancing afterwards or something. He didn't reveal everything he planned, which I liked. So he's telling her about this extravagant date that he's obviously put a lot of thought, a lot of energy, and a lot of time into. Now keep in mind, she's thinking about this other dude, but yet he's treating her like he's taking her out for their wedding anniversary or something. It's kind of inappropriate. He's putting the cart before the horse, doing all these kinds of crazy things. She's not his girlfriend, doesn't sound like they even slept together or anything. And yet he's treating her like his wife and the mother of his children. I did a video years ago called "Don't Treat Women You're Dating Like Your Girlfriends." And that's kind of what this guy is doing. He's treating her like he would want to be able to treat her like she was his girlfriend. It's too much, too soon, and typically the girl will bounce on you when you do that. Lo and behold, 2 hours before the date, I canceled the whole thing. That's kind of shitty waiting 2 hours before. I mean, that's just not nice. But you did it because you knew you could get away with it. Or so you thought. And I told him I wasn't into it. I wanted to be honest because I realized it went too far and I got confused. I love that. Women get confused. The reality is, what you recognize is, you should be really into this guy. He's doing everything that all the movies and the TV shows say that's supposed to make a girl go bananas over a guy. But yet, you canceled 2 hours before because you weren't feeling it. You were feeling more attraction for this other guy who's doing nothing for you than this guy who, at least up until this point, seems like perfect gentleman. He's going above and beyond, obviously excessive, as I pointed out. But here's a guy doing everything that Hollywood and the media tells you you're supposed to do to win a girl, and yet she still blew him off 2 hours before, even though he went through all this planning and did all this work. And here's what she says. I was still kind of hung up on this other guy, and I didn't want to hurt this new one, which obviously you knew you were hurting him because he was way more into you than you were into him. So, I mean, it's a true statement from her perspective. She's recognizing, like, Jesus Christ, this guy's, like, making a date like our fucking wedding anniversary or something, and I haven't even slept with him yet. Because every woman knows that you keep going out with a guy like this, and eventually he's going to get attached. And when he starts smothering you and you try to back away, he's going to get really angry and really upset. And women want to avoid that for obvious reasons. He was shocked and wanted explanations. Obviously, he hadn't read my book. He was furious, telling me that he should have just fucked me and that's it. That he was wrong, thinking I was different, etc. He sounds like a really together guy. The dude lost his shit. He was using food, nice restaurants, spending money, telling her to get all dressed up as a bribe for sex in a relationship. And that strategy just doesn't work. Just because you spend a lot of money, I mean, who doesn't like to have a lot of money spent on them? Who doesn't like free shit? But at the end of the day, it doesn't create attraction. And that's why the average woman has been out on enough dates where this happens with guys that get too attached, and as soon as they back off or cancel a date, then you get what's really under the surface. So you can understand, as a guy, from a woman's perspective, what women have to deal with. Because guys that behave this way become stalkers, they become angry, they become physically abusive, and obviously that's scary to women for obvious fucking reasons. So listen to this. A month later, he texted me again telling me I am a terrible woman. Now keep in mind, 30 days have gone by and he's still upset about this. He's butthurt. He's angry. And why is he angry? Because he's full of fear. He's afraid he's not going to get what he wants, which obviously was you. And to make himself feel better, he lashes out at you again, trying to project his anger and his hatred and his self-loathing and his fear onto you in an attempt to make him feel better about himself. But the reality is he acted like a fucking chump. That's reality. Not a 3% man. But he could be if you read the book. A month later, he texted me to tell me I'm a terrible woman. I should pay him back for all the money he spent on me. And she puts in parentheses, quite frankly, it was his idea to spend anything. I am not a high maintenance girl. He wanted to do it, but again, he's doing it for the wrong reasons. He's obviously seen too many movies and crap like the rest of us have that says these are the kinds of things that cause a girl to go weak in the knees. It's cute in a romantic comedy, but in real life, you can see freaks women out because his reaction is an overreaction, is totally inappropriate. I understand that he was hurt, so I didn't reply and believe this text was just him taking his anger out on me. I would agree with that. However, the question remains after months. Am I the kind of woman you warn your followers against? I mean, at the end of the day, if I was coaching this guy and I was doing a phone session, I was like, dude, you did it to yourself. You opened yourself right up to it. You violated the principles. You don't do grand gesture dates. This is the kind of thing, maybe your anniversary or Valentine's Day, you can do something like this. Not a girl you haven't even slept with yet. And on top of that, a girl who's being flaky and canceling dates. Remember, flakiness and canceling dates is a sign of low attraction. And obviously in this case, like I've talked about many times in the past, there's another dude in the picture who she's really into. So when you're dating a woman and things seem to go well on one date and then all of a sudden a week or two later she's kind of cold and treating you like a second-class citizen, the reason being is the primary guy she's really into has come back into the picture, or it looks like things are going to work out. So you get put back on the back burner because she's not emotionally bonded to you yet. She said, "I just because I decided to be honest and not lead him on." Well, I mean, the one critique I would say is 2 hours before, that's kind of shitty. And you knew it was shitty, but you fucking did it anyways. Because quite frankly, he was a little bitch and he kind of deserved it. It is what it is. What to do in these situations, not to lead anybody on and still keep my options open? Well, right or wrong, at the end of the day, you realize that this guy had no emotional self-control, and you probably dodged a bullet there by not being involved with this guy because he's really insecure. Can you imagine dating a guy like this for 6 months and then deciding you don't want to see him anymore? Do you think he would go away peacefully and quietly and easily? Probably not. I'm reading your second book late at night, and your videos made me wonder, who is this guy I accidentally discovered on YouTube? Well, I don't believe in accidents. I believe everything happens for a reason, and what happened, happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. Whose advice on dating actually makes sense? Well, that's the beauty of truth. It just kind of makes sense. It's self-evident. Although not always I can agree with views expressed in the book, politics, etc. Well, my second book, Mastering Yourself, what she's talking about is there's definitely some politics in there, and if you tend to lean left, there's probably going to be shit in there that pisses you off. If you lean right and you're ultra religious, you probably might not like my spiritual views on the world, and that's okay. At the end of the day, it's like I got a 50-50 shot of pissing the reader off is kind of the way I look at it, because I'm going to talk about gun rights. I mean, obviously you see this nice shirt that I have on here, the Don't Tread on Me snake. This is actually a Dom Rasso. He was a retired SEAL. This is one of the shirts he's designed. I fucking love the way these fit. They're nice. Dynamis.com is his website. He's got great stuff. If you like guns and you like shooting, he does training. I haven't trained with him. Maybe eventually I will. But he makes good quality shit. And I like to support vets because I come from a family of them. She says, the thing I admire most about you is how you let vulnerability shine through. I mean, the reality is I talk about all the fuck-ups and things that I've done wrong in my life because those are the things I've learned from. And it makes you relatable when you share those things with other people. I've had so many people over the years tell me that a big reason why they booked phone sessions or bought my book is because I don't puff myself up like I'm some super dude or anything. I'm just a regular guy trying to do extraordinary things. And the difference between me and 99.99% of the other people out there is that I don't fucking stop and I don't quit. I keep coming. I never fucking quit. I never give up. I'm always looking for a way to figure shit out. Because the reality is, with enough time and repetition and perseverance, eventually whatever it is you're trying to overcome or be better at, you will get there. If you got breath in your lungs and your blood in your veins, you still got a chance. It takes guts and courage to allow it. You have this elusive, rare quality about yourself, and as a woman, I can tell. So your intuition is telling you good things about me. You should trust that. I would appreciate a reply in a video if you find my question of value to your male audience. I think many guys find themselves in these kinds of situations with my girlfriends and me. And like I said earlier in the video, I think probably every dude that's watching this has probably at some point in their life done something similar to this. Spent a lot of money, put together a ridiculous date, and it got canceled at the last minute, or it wasn't appreciated and the affection wasn't reciprocated either. And that fucking sucks. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Too many sweet words, but you deserve them all. Well, I appreciate the kind words. And I'd say from everything I read, you kind of sound like a regular woman. The only critique, like I said, it was a dick move. Wait until 2 hours before the date to cancel. But quite frankly, he kind of fucking deserved it. And he opened himself up for it. I mean, he invited it. That's reality. No one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. And so, once again, you can go to my website, understandingrelationships.com, and you can read both my books, the ebook versions, totally for free by subscribing to the email newsletter. And that way you can read all the best information, tips, advice, everything I've learned and apply it. And once you apply it, then you'll see that it works. And then go out and buy a paperback or a hardcover or an audiobook. And if you'd like to talk to me personally, if you've got a situation, personal or professional, you'd like my help with, go to my website, understandingrelationships.com. Click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page and book a coaching session with yours truly. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.